Welcome to Chris Horner's Motorcycle Essentials. I'm back with the TE 150 2020. This is the wife's bike, so we made it even a little bit easier to ride. Now this bike has 81 hours on it and probably only 5 of them are from the wife. She's been out 5-6 times with us, goes out and rides for 30 minutes or an hour. Pretty lean when we're talking about the wife jumping out here and enjoying riding motocross with us. And of course I got the little guy, the 6-year-old. So she wants to go out and ride more. So we put the Rekluse clutch on this little bad boy. And now this is going to become even easier to ride. Now it's the auto Rekluse clutch. This one's kind of pimped out, so we got all the bells and whistles with this Rekluse. Got the cover, got the adjustability with it, so we can fine tune how much it engages or disengages. And I think this ran about $1,200–$1,300 after it was installed over at the guys at MTech here in Bend, Oregon. So I'll start it up for you guys and I'll show you the advantage of having the Rekluse clutch. All right, it's in neutral right now. And now it's in gear, okay? So it's not going anywhere, so the wife never has to worry about the clutch anymore. A little bit of gas and it'll take off. I can shift it up. It's in 5th gear and it's still not going anywhere. If you want to go anywhere, you can literally stop with the Rekluse auto clutch in whatever gear you want. I've ran this before. I ran this before on a 2013 XC 150 and I had a 2015, I believe it was, 350 XCF, the street legal dual sport bike. So I've got a little bit of experience with the Rekluse clutch, but not a ton of it. I didn't have a lot of hours on those bikes. So I'll go out and ride the wife's bike and I'll show you guys what I mean in terms of how it handles and the ease and control of it. If you got a beginner riding, this is a fantastic. I like the Rekluse clutch in general. It's got a lot of positives, very few negatives about the Rekluse clutch, but massive amount of positives if you're a beginner rider. And you still have the use of the clutch. It still works the normal way it would. So if you don't want it to be automatic, you can still use the clutch to get that extra power out of the bike. And I'll show you guys on the video here in just a moment. All right, so Garrett's on the 2021 250 XCW. We got that thing running perfect now. Runs like a champ. We'll do a video on that soon. I'm of course gonna jump on the TE 150 2020 and I'll show you guys on how the Rekluse clutch works. Keep in mind too with the Rekluse clutch, it works with, when you have more RPMs, that's what's engaging the clutch, and then of course that's what's accelerating the bike. So when you're warming the bike up, you do have to have it in neutral when you have the cold start on because it runs higher RPMs. So the bike will, normally you can have it in 1st gear and just start the bike without the cold start and it'll idle right there, no problem. But if you have the cold start on because the RPMs run higher, the bike will take off if you put it in gear. So keep that in mind and don't forget about that. If you're wondering about the thumb right here, why the glove's cut, the cheese grater got the best of me 2 nights ago. So here we go, here's a run on it. Right now it's in neutral. All right, got the cold start on. So if I put it in gear right now, watch, I gotta have the clutch in right now because cold start's on. You see it'll start to roll forward, right? Take the cold start off and now the RPMs run down to normal level. Clutch is out, bike goes nowhere, right? So again, we can put it in all the gears. Now remember with the auto clutch, I don't need the clutch at all. I can just take off right from this gear. And I don't need the clutch to shift it either. You just let off the gas. I'm in 4th gear right now. And there you go, I got it going, no clutch on the thing, everything's dialed. I can take off in 4th gear too. See? Of course, it's always better if you're in 1st. You can see me shifting down. Watch, I'm shifting the whole time. There you go. So remember, if you're new to riding, this is a great, Rekluse clutch is fantastic. No clutch at all, right? You're just shifting with the foot. Now keep in mind, want to, I can still use the clutch too. So if you got the clutch in, now you see, bike's not gonna go anywhere. So it still works the same way. See, there you go. Now again, see, don't need a clutch to stop. Get it going again. And so that has a bunch of pluses for out, especially for beginners, but it actually has a lot of pluses for experienced riders too, because if you don't have to worry about your clutch hand getting tired, you can still use the clutch the same way, and then if your hand's getting tired, you can take it off. There's some downside to the Rekluse clutch when you start getting into some extreme enduro riding. There's some disadvantages to it, and then of course there's still some advantages in the extreme enduro too, but for this bike it's absolutely ideal. And my boy needs a clutch because he does a lot of the extreme enduro, but oh, it's still clutching. The clutch still works the same way. I can still find that extra power out of it. The biggest thing is sometimes you gotta remember always, you gotta shift it back down, but like, you know, there you go, so no problem. Come down through here, but look, no clutch needed, right? Nothing, not even you. Everything's just holding on with one hand. Things working fantastic. And so for beginner riders or just some experienced riders, but maybe you got a fatigue in the hand or something, then you don't have to bother using the clutch. There you go, if you want extra power out of that 150. Sometimes you just forget to shift down and up because it works as it's like an automatic basically. But if you want that power, it's still there. Now let's do the rocky section, how easy it becomes. Let's go through this whole section. I'll try to go through without much clutch or any clutch. Yeah, see how I just crawl it up over that? That was no clutch whatsoever. This is a little more difficult section here. And remember, this is my first day on it. First few minutes. No clutch at all, see? Yeah. So if you're new to enduro riding, you definitely want to learn how to use the clutch, but it allows you to just advance a little bit faster. And I got experience with Rekluse clutch on 2 other bikes, like I was saying already, but this is the first time in a few years since I had one on one of my bikes. And the biggest thing my boy reminds me of with the Rekluse clutch, because he's doing such hard enduros, you see him up there ahead of us, is the bike's always in neutral when it's not running, it's in neutral. So when he gets stuck on these rocks, and he has to walk around the bike, a lot of times, first gear, second gear, whatever he's got it in, when he's crawling up the rocks, it'll hold the bike in place once the engine stops. But now with the Rekluse clutch, it won't hold the bike in place. So for some extreme enduro stuff, there's reasons to definitely avoid the Rekluse clutch. But for this stuff, like this is no clutch. And see, I don't have to think about it. All I'm doing is giving gas, right? No clutch. For one little clutch to get the front end up like that, no problem. To find that extra power, here you go. There you can find the extra power, but again, the auto clutch helps with this kind of stuff. Look, no clutch at all. Now we'll climb up the rock wall here. And remember, this is the first, 10 minutes I've been on the bike with this. So it's not like I got any expertise. And it's been a few years since I've had a Rekluse clutch in the past, but that was zero clutch right there. It just went up over all that stuff. So for beginner riders, absolutely exceptional. Advanced riders, it has its big benefits too. One downside, like I was saying, you can come over here, say you get the bike stuck on a more extreme level like this. Let's pretend this is more extreme. Normally, if you got to get off the bike for some reason and walk around and the bike's kind of vertical, what will happen with the Rekluse clutch and the engine's off, the bike still rolls back, right? When a lot of times, if you don't have a Rekluse clutch and the bike is stopped, first gear, second gear will keep the bike from rolling backwards. So here's the one problem if you're doing extreme enduro, which my boy loves. You can see him up there. There he goes. Oh, yep, cleared it. And so if you're on an extreme hillside, which, you can be that way if you're riding, if you're an advanced rider, when you let go of the brake, bike rolls, right? So you got to keep that in mind. But normally the bike would never stop. So right there, I just started it still in gear, right? So look, okay. So when you're doing extreme enduro though, the bike won't stall on you because you got the Rekluse. And so if you look at it like this, see how it rolls? So you always got to give it a little bit of gas to hold it into that place. But that's for real advanced riders. And that's really the most downside of a Rekluse clutch if you're doing advanced enduro riding. So now I'm going to start the bike up again. I'm in gear, as you see, all the way down, first gear. I started the bike up, no clutch whatsoever. And now you can just easily walk your bike up this stuff. You don't have to focus on anything, right? Like, here you go. So, you're trying to stay with some more advanced riders that understand how to use the clutch and gas better. Now, with this, you don't have to, right? I can come up here, I can set the bike up like that. No clutch, right? No clutch. Little pressure. There you go. And it just crawls right up over that steep little rock. So, definitely some upsides. For beginners, the Rekluse is massive. And for the experienced guys, it has its big benefits here and there too. And you'll have a couple of negative spots, but the biggest one is what I just explained. So, hope you guys enjoyed the show. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys real soon.